It all started with a frantic 911 call that lit up the internet like wildfire. "This is a sexual emergency," the woman shrieked into the phone. "I'm being denied my fundamental right to swim freely, without the chains of fabric oppressing my body." That woman was Evelyn Whitaker, the 64-year-old president of the Lakeside Community Association in the quiet suburb of Pine Ridge Shores. And the man who unwittingly became the center of this storm? Robert Langley, a retired corporate financier who'd moved there seeking peace after years in the cutthroat world of high-stakes deals. Robert had been lounging on his dock that fateful afternoon, sipping coffee and watching the sun dance on Lake Meredith's surface, when Evelyn came barreling down the path like a force of nature. Without a word, she stripped off her clothes, let out a primal yell, and cannonballed into the water stark naked. Splashes echoed across the lake as she thrashed about, performing what she later called interpretive liberation dances. Robert froze, his jaw dropping. This wasn't the serene retirement he'd envisioned. Evelyn wasn't just any neighbor. She was a self-proclaimed ecstatic movement coach and former insurance adjuster, obsessed with enforcing the association's rules with an iron fist while preaching radical freedom practices. Think nude yoga under the full moon, bonfires fueled by sage and chants, all in the name of shedding societal shackles. When Robert first arrived, she'd shown up at his door with a loaf of zucchini bread and a thick packet of bylaws, including bizarre clauses about minimalist swimwear that encouraged as little coverage as possible. "Join me for sunrise naked stretching," she'd invited with a wink. Robert politely declined, muttering something about bad knees, but inside, he sensed trouble brewing. Tensions simmered from the start. Evelyn slapped him with citations for the pettiest offenses. His swim shorts were excessively modest. His privacy fence blocked communal energy flow. His deck chairs were arranged in a defensive formation. And worst of all, his security cameras were voyeuristic tools of the patriarchy. Robert, a no-nonsense guy who'd traded boardrooms for birdwatching, tried to laugh it off at first. But Evelyn's uninvited visits pushed him to the edge. One morning, he found her meditating buck-naked in his kayak, claiming it was a sacred vessel. Another time, she burned herbs in his driveway to cleanse his aura, leaving scorch marks and a citation for harboring hostile vibrations. Their arguments turned philosophical and explosive. "Clothing is oppression," she'd rant. "You're gatekeeping Mother Earth with your internalized shame." Robert shot back, "This is my property, not your personal nudist colony." The boiling point came on what Evelyn dubbed Lake Liberation Day. She burst onto Robert's dock, declaring that water spirits had visited her in a dream, demanding an end to textile tyranny. Before he could protest, she sprinted forward, shedding her robe like a snake's skin, and plunged in. As she flailed in the water, she dialed emergency services, accusing Robert of assaulting her bodily autonomy. The call went viral almost instantly, sparking heated debates online. Was this a bold stand for personal freedom or a deranged invasion of privacy? Deputy Mike Sullivan arrived minutes later, sirens blaring. Evelyn, still splashing wildly, pointed at Robert and screamed, "Arrest him for crimes against humanity." The deputy, a burly veteran with a noble attitude, eyed her suspiciously. "Ma'am, are you under the influence? And please, put some clothes on." Evelyn refused, calling him a fascist enforcer of puritanical norms and attempting a citizen's arrest on him instead. The scene devolved into chaos, Evelyn thrashing, the deputy dodging her flailing arms, Robert yelling for sanity. In the end, Sullivan hauled her out, wrapped her in a blanket, and carted her off for questioning. But the drama didn't end there. Evelyn's son, Sky, a free-spirited influencer in his 30s, had been lurking nearby and live-streamed the whole ordeal under the title, "Mom Battles Lake Tyranny." The video exploded, racking up over 83,000 views in hours, with comments splitting the internet. Supporters hailed her as a body positivity icon, while critics slammed her as an entitled menace. The county health board launched an investigation, uncovering a 3-year trail of Evelyn's nude escapades. She'd trespassed on docks across the neighborhood, naked yoga on one, moonlit rituals on another, skinny dipping parties that left neighbors traumatized. Testimonies poured in like a flood. Neighbor Sarah provided security footage of Evelyn blessing her boat au naturel. John and Lisa Ramirez shared photos of her chanting in their backyard, scaring their kids. Even Dr. Harold Jenkins, a respected physician, recounted spotting her mid-ceremony and thinking he was hallucinating from a stroke. She looked like a sea witch emerging from the depths, one elderly resident quipped in a local news interview, igniting more controversy. The story hit the headlines. Nude rebel or neighborhood nightmare. Association head accused of aquatic anarchy. A montage of her infractions played on loop, fueling public outrage and mockery alike. The association couldn't ignore the uproar. An emergency board meeting was called, and Evelyn showed up draped in a makeshift toga from a shower curtain, blowing into a conch shell to summon harmony. It backfired spectacularly. The board voted her out unanimously in under 15 minutes, her pleas drowned out by exasperated sighs. Legally, things got uglier. The county prosecutor charged her with trespassing, disturbing the peace, and public indecency. Evelyn fired back with a countersuit, alleging patriarchal property bias and discrimination against her spiritual practices. The judge dismissed it outright, fining her $2,500 and warning her to keep her liberations private. Evelyn's reaction was pure theater. She gasped, raged about the assault on her moon ceremony funds, then slumped in defeat. As the gavel fell, it marked the end of her reign as the bear-all terror of Pine Ridge shores. Robert finally exhaled, his quiet life restored, but the neighborhood buzzed with whispers, debates raging over freedom versus boundaries. Was Evelyn a misunderstood visionary or a selfish intruder? The lake held its secrets, but one thing was clear. In the battle between radical nudity and suburban sanity, controversy had won the day.